All right. Welcome to the X-Ray Podcast. My name is Robert, and we're here ready to dive into something that I feel, and me and Julio were discussing about this as we were discussing of many different criterias of subjects. But we were thinking, like, you know what? I had got into a little scuffle in Facebook, um, and these gentlemen were a lot older than me, and they were in the baby boomer and Gen X range, and it came to my attention that these guys don't know what exactly tariffs are, and I'm thinking, well, holy crap, because of you guys, because I wasn't old enough to vote in George Sr., Clinton, or Bush Jr. I wasn't old enough to vote then, right? So, because I'm considered a millennial. And so I started realizing, holy crap, you don't know what a tariff is. Because he's saying, oh man, you're going to pay for it. You're paying for the tariffs. And okay, so in case you don't know what a tariff is, basically, a tariff is where, let's say you got a product, and I'm just going to go back to, some people don't know these brands, but I'm going to bring it up. They used to exist here in America. There was a TV company called RCA, and this is a great example. If you get a chance, chat GPT it, or what was the one we use now? Grok, and then, ask the AI, what happened to RCA?
If you use this,
And let me tell you something. So RCA is a USA company, all 100%, hired employees, built here in America. And then you had Sony. Okay. Well, somewhere within the free trade era, which I think it went hard on Bill Clinton, and you can fact check me, but in the Bill Clinton era, but I think it even went further, because but Bill Clinton, it was really a thing about free trade and all this stuff, right? And so what wind up happening is that now these companies, like in Japan, Sony was building TVs and selling them, and I'm just gonna give it an example, but they were $100 cheaper than RCA, and then RCA was American, and it was $100 more, obviously, than Sony. But Sony was being fabricated and manufactured overseas. And guess what? The labor cost, meaning the employees that put the TV together, they're paying those people cheap. Like in China, I think there were like 13 cents an hour, I believe, at that time. And so when you say 13 cents an hour, but they're selling this TV for $450, I mean, they're making a killing. Versus RCA, they have to pay the minimum wage. And at that time, it was like $7.95 or something, or $6.15, I'm sorry. Or probably $5. I think it was $5 an hour. But either way, but most of the time, those manufacturers, they pay a little more because it's a technology trade. So, the hourly rate is, even if it was $1 an hour, 13 cents an hour is still way cheaper than $1, right? We can at least agree to that. Well, anyways, they would sell this TV for $400, and RCA was $500. So the Japanese company Sony made a killing. All right? They didn't get charged any tariffs for selling this TV. We got charged for selling our RCA to Japan. But why would they buy it, right? It's Japanese. The Sony was $400, and I'm just using this as an example. This is happening all over different countries and different products. But the Sony TV, that's $400, and now there's an RCA is $500, right? So let me now tell you what's going on here. So Sony decides, well, I have a lot more money than what it cost me to build this TVs. Let's invest this extra money to better the technology to this TV. Versus RCA is just making enough to pay the bills, to just exist. So guess what happens? Now around the 2000 era, around, beginning of 2000 till I think it crashed in 2013, 2012. I don't remember the year exactly, but point is, then you had the recession, you had a bunch of stuff, a bunch of variables, but if there wasn't any variables, you still had that displacement of $400 a TV, and they're investing their earnings on technology. RCA is just trying to exist. Then guess what happens? The new Sony TVs are coming out better because they're investing more of their earnings because they have more earnings versus RCA, right? So then, I hope I'm not losing anybody, but then basically, now guess what? Sony's making a better TV for $400. RCA is making a basic TV for $500. So eventually, guess what you're going to buy? You're going to buy the Sonys, the Samsungs. You're going to buy the LGs, all foreign, not made here in America. And then guess what? RCA lays off his people, close, goes away. My kids don't even know that brand ever existed, RCA. But it was an American company. Now, what does a tariff do? A tariff basically tells Sony, and let's just say RCA exists, right? If there was a tariff back then, Sony now would have to sell Sony will have to sell the TV for $450, and RCA still sells it for $500. So then guess what? They have to sell that. So, and essentially, yes, if you continue buying Sony, you're paying for the tariff, right? The increase. So I guess in a short run, that makes sense. And now you're forced to pay either your option between a $500 TV to a $450 TV. But it gives RCA and all the workers that work in America, your neighbors, your loved ones, your friends, gives them a chance to keep their job and be able to exist and be competitive. So now you're not giving a leg for Sony to be having more technology advance over RCA, and you're basically making it competitive. And that's what a tariff does. So if you are upset because things are going to seem like it goes up, well, inflation was going to happen anyways. So you were going to see that go up, but not just in Sony, but also in RCA. But now that you have a tariff, RCA will stay the same, but now Sony's going to go up to 450 or even 480. I'm just giving that an example, right? And that's what the Trump administration is working on, to make sure that it's an equal footing. So it gives RCA a living chance to continue. You need to Google and find out how many American companies have been destroyed by open trade. And I'm telling you, use ChatGPT, because there's nobody filtering that now. And which is scary, but that's another subject. But the point is, tariffs is giving the American country and the workers the chance to fight against this uneven playing field. So in the short run, yes, it's going to seem a little taxing, it's going to seem a little heavy, but guess what? It's going to open more opportunities for RC to get loans, right? Then he's going to get loans. He's going to be able to get loans because banks are going to see that he's going to be hiring workers. There's going to be incentives because Trump's giving incentives for American companies to make their business. Then guess what? There's going to be more production, means for production, and more money for making better technology, which America has. If we put our mind to it, our technology will overpass any technology that these Japanese people can create. So this is why a lot of people are scared, because once America goes on top, no one else can compete with it. So we're trying to get back to be a superpower, and this is the right move, in my opinion. And for all you guys that are against tariffs, then what's your alternative? Because the status quo wasn't working. We were losing people. Inflation was going crazy. So what is it? You just don't like this idea because it came out of Trump. For all you that have TDS, you need to get that under wrap or something and just start actually paying attention to what's going on. So Julio, I'm sorry. I I
You're
felt
good.
passion to explain this because I think it's very important that you guys know the facts of what's going on. And some people don't understand what tariffs are. They think it's just gonna increase everything. But just remember this: it's only gonna increase the stuff that you buy from imports.
Yeah, absolutely. In just a quick note, uh, did Donald Trump collected over $27 billion on tariff? So we get more money in our pocket, even though they might pass or they might not pass those charges up to us. We have to look at it this way. Like if we have a car in the United States, like a Harley Davidson, you cannot sell that in China because it has over like 100% tariff on us, and that's why you don't see American cars in Asia because they are heavily tariffed. So it is now that we have a equal trade. We got open trade, but we didn't have it equal back then.
Yep.
Now we do have it equal. If they charge me 10% tariff, I will charge you 10% tariff, and that's free and equal trade. Now we are collecting money, and sometimes they cannot even. They have to suck up those tariff because they cannot overprice their product.
Correct.
Because our product is the same value, so they cannot be like, hey, if we add in 10% on every item that we sell in the United States, we might go bankrupt because people will not buy it. So it actually, we take their capital away instead of going to their pockets, it's going to our pockets.
Yep.
And also we incentive more workers because they rather to move their companies to the United States instead of paying a 10 or 15 or 20% tariff tax.
Yep.
So for us, we need to go back to a manufacturing powerhouse like we were after the collapse in 1929. That we became the Depression, and then we became a manufacturing powerhouse, and that's what got us through World War II of our building and manufacturing power. And then we just kind of like outsource all our needs and products to other countries, and then we became dependent on everybody else. And I don't agree with Trump bringing back chips to the United States, bringing back automotive manufacturing to the United States, because they need to be built here by our American hands, and we have more people employed, and basically bring back the middle class. Like back in the 60s, the middle class were thriving. Middle class were like the money makers. Nowadays, the middle class is vanishing, in my point of view.
And so you're right. We are vanishing, and this is a scary thing because when the middle class vanish, it's either you're poor or rich at that point. And that's the scary thing because a lot of us are middle class. But back to the reason why we even did this whole free trade thing, and I think it stemmed right after World War II, because guess what happened? We won a war, our heads got big, right? Vietnam, we took a little loss, but our head was still big. That's why we went over there, because we thought we were just like the massive superhero, the superpower country. Then you had the fall of USSR. So we felt like we're the superpower now. We felt confident, and we got a little too egotistic. We got too confident and too cocky. So then we said, yeah, you go ahead, make our bedding, make this, make that, we got you, And the reason why we were always charged a tariff, Julio, was because countries would say, well, no, because we have to tag a tariff to your product because you guys can afford this, and we can't, our people are not able to buy all this, and it's too expensive, and you guys can accept, so we just like, okay, y'all need help, you need help. But okay, at certain point, they got it went from China being a third world country in the 70s to now it's like equal or even more, almost to the point of they're more powerful than we are. So it's like, why do we still gotta, I guess, put our hand behind our back and just, at a certain point, we're going to have to put our two hands, and I think we're well past that. And I think Donald Trump's seen that. That's why the chips, that was the best move for him.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
So we closing with that. This is what tariff. Let me know if tariffs affect you. It haven't affect me. I'm just keep buying my regular stuff, and I'm more looking into buying American stuff, and also support your local farmer, your local builder, to support the local stuff.
Yep.
And make this middle class, and bring people from the lower, bring it to middle class, and keep each other, helping each other out. So everybody become thriving and capable to bring back what we used to be, all that, the greatness that we kind of lent out. We kind of outsource our greatness is outsourced to other people, and it's time to bring everything back home. So
Yep.
Closing with that, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this channel. And also, if you are grateful enough, please leave a comment down below. We would like to hear your thoughts on tariff. And I see you on the next one. That's Julio signing out. And Robert, my friend, I see you in the next one. Take care.